Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review of AMC's The Walking Dead. This week we've seen Season 6, Episode 8, which is entitled Start to Finish, of course being the mid-season finale. So this is actually my second time recording it. As you guys know, I have issues with my cat. Always while I'm recording, she's out the door, she wants in, she wants out. And it finally happened so much, I just felt like I had to start the video over because of how much I was going back and forth and trying to catch her and stuff like that. So I finally decided to feed her special canned food that she likes so much, so I should hopefully keep her distracted for a few minutes. But overall, I think it was a good mid-season finale. A lot of people are already bashing. I can see, people like to complain, to high heaven about that, about anything related to The Walking Dead and, shows of that caliber and stuff like that. But, I thought it was a good finale. There wasn't too much going on with the story this episode, but, a lot of it was built around the pressure and the tension due to the walkers getting in, of course, which we've seen, start at the end of last week's episode with the tower coming down and stuff like that. And I really like the visual of seeing that happen, seeing it just get demolished when it hits the ground and stuff. And, of course, all the shots of the walkers, stumbling and stuff like that was pretty cool. Of course, being a zombie and horror fan, I like any cool-looking zombies. You've seen some cool ones in this episode, too, like different objects stuck through their throats and stuff like that. We've seen one with, its jaw hanging down, so I thought that was fun. Was it the best mid-season finale so far? No. Now that was a bad episode. It was a good episode, don't get me wrong, but easily the best season finale is Season 4. Too Far Gone, which I consider to be one of the best episodes of all time, probably the best episode of the series in my opinion. Of course, with that whole governor prison climax and stuff like that, you just can't really beat that. Unless we see a big, huge episode built around Negan or something, we'll see how that turns out, but we'll see when the time comes. To me, that's the only chance we'll have, or a series finale or something, but anyway. So it doesn't quite match up to that level, but I will say I probably enjoyed it a bit more than I did Season 5's mid-season finale, which is the whole Coda, Beth thing and stuff like that. Anyway, one of the reasons why I might now like Season 5's mid-season finale is, of course, I'm not a big fan of Beth. And also this one just had a lot more scenes with characters that I actually enjoy. So, of course, I'm going to like this episode better, we also had Morgan and Carol in a dilemma. Carol she knows he was hiding something downstairs in that basement. And so she chooses to have that confrontation now. And let me talk about this before I get into the main what the main core group is doing in the episode. So of course she probably figured what was going on. She's seen Morgan lead the doctor there. Denise, who's also kind of Tara's girlfriend at this point, down there, to of course heal the wolves' wound and stuff like that. I thought that was good. They had a standoff for a few commercial breaks and stuff like that. Morgan trying to tell her they didn't have to do this now and stuff like that, which they didn't really. In a way, Carol could have probably held off on this big confrontation, so this whole Walker dilemma was over with, because the wolf was tied up. He was bound, he was hog-tied, basically. Not hog-tied exactly, but he had his legs tied, his feet tied together, his hands and stuff like that. So I don't think he's gonna get out unless Walker's broke in. Then he might try to find a way to do something drastic, but I don't think he's gonna break out in that moment otherwise. So I think it was kind of less intelligent on Carol's part to force a big confrontation with the people you're probably supposed to band together with to survive this whole thing. But at the same time, it's probably just a plot convenience to create added tension in the episode. But it's okay. We know this is going to happen. A lot of people hate Morgan right now. I get potential annoyance of the character and stuff like that, because we know that a lot of good people are killed now, and there's really no point in trying to waste your time in this world on someone who's done so much shit and who hasn't really seen or shown any signs of changing, and Morgan believes he could potentially, maybe he would if he was there for a very long time, maybe he wouldn't, but of course I still like Morgan. I've said before I'm not really too big on Carol as a character. I like her, I appreciate her developments in season 1 and stuff like that, but she's not one of my favorites. I don't love her like a lot of people do. I actually still love Morgan. Lenny James is such a great actor. He does such a good job in the role. And, for him, what I don't want him to be killed off because of it, but I want him to sort of, have to be pushed to the point where he does kill someone and sort of, reach a point Rick's at, where he realizes he might need to kill people at times to protect those things he cares most about. Or he could see that maybe some people do deserve it. So I was kind of rooting for Morgan in this scenario anyway. What ends up happening is, of course, Carol actually does try to take a few stabs at Morgan, excuse me. Morgan ends up, slamming her and, knocking her out and stuff like that. And the wolf is able to come from behind him and hit him with a stick that he had dropped. And then he takes the niece hostage, basically. And when characters like Eugene, Rosita, and Tara show up, he sort of gets out the door with a gun and stuff like that. So that was one little cliffhanger we have, I wouldn't have been surprised if we just tossed Denise the walkers, or just shot her on the way out or sliced her neck. I don't know. But in a way, I like Denise. I kind of find her and Tara to be pretty cute together. I kind of like to see more of them. But I won't be surprised if she's dead within the next episode or two when it does come back on. But speaking of Eugene, Rosita, and Tara, they were trapped together in a garage for a little bit before they came and seen what was going on with the wolf and stuff. I thought their scenes were fine. Nothing too special, but I did like the scene of Tara motivating Rosita to go on, and Rosita sort of is in the dark place about not Eugene, but Abraham probably being dead and stuff like that, and Tara's able to pull her back to sort of get themselves out of that situation. And we also see that Eugene was the one to say help on the walkie-talkie, to Daryl, Abraham, and Sasha. So that was one of the ones I was figuring. What I did find kind of weird, though, is that, we see characters like Tara, Eugene, and Rosita, but we don't see a character like Aaron whatsoever at all during this whole scenario that the characters are in. Let me let my cat out. I'm not going to let her back in during this video, that's for sure. Anyway. I did find it weird that we seen characters like, Tara and stuff, but we didn't see Aaron whatsoever. I figured he would have been around Maggie or something, or just see him running around with Eric, his boyfriend. Maybe see his boyfriend get killed and him sort of stick to Maggie or something like that. But I just found it funny how they forgot to include him at all. Even a couple scenes of him running around or climbing up to that little platform with Maggie or something, I thought that would have been fine. And of course, Glenn's still trying to motivate not Tara, but Enid, to go in and try to help and stuff. And we see Glenn, he sees Maggie, and so when it comes back, we'll probably see Glenn, help her somehow or draw the walkers away from her. So I was okay. I kind of wish we would have at least had Maggie see him in this episode, see him from a distance. But, of course, they're leaving some things for the second half. Also, not Enid, but, why am I suddenly getting all these names mixed up? But, Deanna, one part I found kind of weird, was, right at the beginning of the episode, everyone was just, tripping. Excuse me. But everyone's just tripping, and we see, Carol, fall over. We see, and, mess up her ankle or hit her head or something like that. And then we see Deanna fall over, and almost get devoured by walkers. We see, Maggie also on this, trip. It's a bunch of, random horror movie cliches they just decided to do. But during that sequence, Deanna was apparently bitten. And I did find it kind of funny, she would have gotten bitten with the walkers that were, basically side by side her. But we did find out that she was, in fact, bit. And she was the character I kind of guessed was going to die in this episode. I felt like her arc was, kind of reaching, or not her arc really, but, her story was kind of reaching its conclusion. It had come full circle, and she was drawing up plans for, Rick and Michonne to work on and stuff like that. And, so I felt like it was coming, but I thought she was just going to just sort of like get taken right away. But I did like how they handled her death anyway. Once Jessie was able to lead some of the others to inside her house, she actually got some good character time, sort of like Bob did when, he was, bitten and dying and stuff like that back in season 5. I liked your scenes with Rick especially Andrew's like in acting in those scenes. I thought it was really good. Michonne, I really liked the things Deanna had to say to Michonne in particular. Just really making Michonne feel like an important character. We know Michonne's important, but I just like them emphasizing with some things Deanna said to her. She has to find what she wants to do with her life, because Deanna was happy, she was satisfied that she's able to work together to a future with her kids and her husband and stuff like that. And she is trying to get Michonne to figure out what exactly she wants to do with her life at this point, and she needs to find it. And I'm still a guy who's hoping for Rishone and stuff like that, or Rickshone, however you want to pronounce it. Rick and Michonne. I kind of hope they're the long-term love story, sort of like Rick and Andrea in the comics. Because I don't think Jessie's really going to make it out of the mid-season or the premiere when it comes back in February. So I'm kind of hoping Michonne and Rick are the long-term idea, but we'll see. I certainly don't see it being the character now, especially with Andrew being long dead. But anyway, so that was all good. We seen Deanna, at the end she kind of went down fighting. It didn't show her completely getting torn apart. Who knows, you might see her body or something when it comes back, but she basically wanted to off herself, after Michonne offered to, do it for her. And then she heard walkers come in, and she decided just to go down and fight and stuff like that. So, you gotta respect that. Even though we see a lot of characters' deaths like that all the time in different movies and shows and stuff. But, it was fine. Also, there's a little Carl and Ron fight. And that was definitely better than the first one, which just involved pushing and stuff like that. Minus like the wild shovel swing Ron tried to go for, which ended up drawing these walkers in, who were completely walking past the house. So really, if Ron didn't use that damn shovel, they all would have been fine. Who knows, they may could have waited it out or something. But Carl actually lies for Ron. Doesn't exactly say there's any fight going on when the rest of the group comes in, but Rick sort of figures what's going on, so is Jessie, I think. And then, Ron's still planning to kill Carl and Rick and stuff like that. So, yeah, he's a frustrating character. Sam, Jessie's other son, was particularly frustrating in this episode as well. With him just not wanting to abandon the house and stuff like that, or just how scared he was to do anything whatsoever in a life or death situation. And I'll admit this, I thought I read spoilers for the mid-season finale here, somewhat accidentally, somewhat not. Once I accidentally read so much on it, what was the point of not seeing the rest and stuff? But, so I feel like Sam is definitely going to lead to possibly his mother's death and maybe a couple others. Because right at the end, when it cuts off, we see him, he's starting to yell, Mom, why is he doing that all of a sudden? It was going fine, they were walking through it using the old guts trick, which was a good reference back to season 1, and the way Carol used it at the beginning of season 5 and stuff. But then he just starts calling for his mom when he's holding her hand, she's guiding him along, and I don't get it. Again, plot means just to make shit happen. Anyway, of course, fun to see Michonne slicing and dicing as always. Let's see. Gabriel actually, made an effort in this episode. He helped Rick quite a bit, setting up barricades as they went along and stuff like that, and promising that he wouldn't turn back or basically not fuck shit up. Excuse my language. So I still wouldn't mind if he got killed off, but it's interesting to see that maybe his gears are finally turning about what he has to do and how he has to act in this world. Especially after he tried to sell the group short and make him seem like just complete assholes earlier. So maybe he's trying to make up for it a little bit, but we'll see where that goes. It was a good episode, but I do feel like we didn't see the actual climax of this whole situation. I'm not going to say what the spoilers said, but it definitely cut off before the main thing they said was about to happen. And I felt a little bit gypped in a way. But I understand it is a mid-season, so maybe they do want a cliffhanger like that, seeing the group guiding themselves out and then about to be, discovered by the walkers because of Sam calling out to his mom and stuff. But at the same time, we've had finales like Too Far Gone, which really pulled some serious, season finale shit. And this one just leaves us off and cuts us off before something happens a lot of us probably figured it was going to happen anyway, reading spoilers or not. So I felt like it was a bit of a letdown. Not too much, but I still thought it was a solid episode. And of course, they had the cliffhanger of the wolf escaping and stuff like that, which a lot of us figured was going to happen if someone didn't put a knife or a bullet in him anytime soon. And there was like a little after credit scene type of scene. Like after Into the Badlands aired its first scene, and then at the first break of that, there was a little 2-minute scene of Abraham, Daryl, and Sasha, which I actually waited for. So I watched a few minutes into the Badlands. Still don't really have an interest in it. The choreography seems decent though, but we see them. They're still driving. They're stopped on the road by this group. They have motorcycles and stuff like that. And this guy basically goes off saying that, all the property, everything they have on the truck, even the poor magazines in the back or something, all belongs, it's all not theirs. And then, they kind of go back and forth, and then he says, it now belongs to Negan. So I was really happy to finally hear that name uttered and stuff like that. I still don't expect him till, like, the season finale, or, like, very close to it, but it's still good to finally hear his name mentioned by a character on the show. So it's definitely a little geek out moment. Still excited to see Jeffrey Dean Morgan play him. I think he's going to do a good job. But yeah, so there's my review. That's all I have to say about it. A good episode. Definitely not the best mid-season finale. And it did feel a little bit gypped. A little bit of a letdown at the end, to see that climax. But overall, I did enjoy it. Let me know what you guys thought. Add me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, Movie Pilot, look for AnswellowDead.com. So it's going to be till February until I'll be doing another Walking Dead review. But also that Flight 467 thing, that just gets frustrating. Less than a minute each time they air a little clip. I hope the Asian girl survives though, but I just find it really weird how they're doing the format of such a short little clip each Walking Dead episode. But anyway, so no more Walking Dead reviews until February. But I do have some other shows I'll be talking about. I still have to do my Z Nation video for the one that aired Friday. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, though. And I only have about 3 episodes left of Jessica Jones to watch. So once I watch those, I'll come back and do a video talking about what I thought about the series as a whole. And then, of course, we have The 100, Lucifer, and of course, Vampire Diaries and Originals coming back towards the end of January. So, yeah, looking forward to all that and whatever other video I feel like in the meantime. So I'll catch you guys next time, and peace.